the fame thing isn't really real, you know? And don't forget, I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to listen to Cosmere Chronicles, the podcast where we follow two first-time readers, Justin and Sheta, who chronicle their journey through Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere series. On today's episode, we will be chronicling Mistborn, the Well of Ascension, chapters 44 through 48. So now, it's time to throw it over to the host of Cosmere Chronicles. This is Joe! Thank you, Joe. Welcome, everyone, once again. You heard the intro, so you know what we're here for. Cosmere Chronicles. I'm Joe. I'm the host this week. And once again, I'm joined by Sheta and Justin. How are you two doing today? Tonight?
Cool as a school.
Well.
All right, that's in-depth as normal. And once again, due to popular demand, we are returning everyone's favorite member of the show, Nick.
Woo!
I don't believe that popular demand.
Yay. Every day they're like, get Justin off, bring Nick back. That's all I hear every day on social media.
Well, all right.
Well,
then.
Nick, there was the one comment on YouTube saying, yeah, Nick was a good addition to this.
Oh, I know.
See?
So there you go.
I did that off and hung it up on my wall.
Wow. That's a good compliment.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to shield Justin Sheta from all the ones saying, fuck these two.
This is the first I've ever heard of that. Oh my gosh.
Yep, so now let's leave that and go into the questions that nobody cares about. Hey, Nick, you come up with something to ask.
Whoa, put him on the spot. Jesus.
Hey, have we done Lord of the Rings characters yet?
I don't think
No.
so.
We have not. Nope.
Well, seems like an easy one. Top 3?
Top 3.
Sure.
Well, I'll go starting off, and I'll start. Number 1 would be Aragorn, son of Arathorn. Number 2 would probably be Frodo Baggins. And number 3 would be Boromir, son of Denethor.
I'm not prepared with all these son ofs, I'm afraid.
Well, I'm just watching it whenever Aragorn gets introduced. It's always Aragorn, son of Arathorn. So I'm used to that.
It's pretty easy because it's just a derivative of their father's name. So you could just make something up.
Boromir,
I believe you.
Boromir, I had to remember because they usually just reference him as Boromir of Gondor.
Right. I will say probably Gollum, Aragorn, son of Arathorn, and probably Samwise.
Samwise Gamgee of the Shire.
Of the Shire.
Okay. I will probably go Frodo Baggins, Gollum. I forgot his original name.
Smeagol.
Schmeagol.
Smeagol. Or I thought he had like a whole hobbity type name, but
He's
and
not
then
a
I'll probably
hobbit.
pick Bilbo.
She said
Hobbit
Hobbit, not Hobbit.
Hobbity type name, Joe. Okay, yeah. Frodo, Gollum, and Bilbo. Everyone who had the ring at some point. all of whom had the ring at some point.
So your 4th favorite character is Isildur?
So
Saruman, of course.
yeah.
Or, no,
I
sorry,
was close to picking
Sauron.
Sauron. I was close to
Yeah.
picking Sauron, but in the movies, at least, we don't really get to know him that well, so I didn't want to.
Oh,
I will also go with Samwise and Gandalf and also Aragorn.
hey.
So we all picked Aragorn? Oh, no, Sheta didn't.
No,
He's not in the club.
he's an honorable mention. I love him too.
Also, I've got to hit
She
myself.
just-
I don't know how I forgot Gandalf. Gandalf will now be replacing
I was-
Aragorn, I'm afraid. I felt very stupid when you said that name.
No one really likes Gandalf, I guess.
Gandalf will be close, but I had to go with Boromir because I thought his story in Fellowship of the Ring was a really good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I will do honorable mention Tom Bombadil.
What? Why? Why?
Because he's always
He represents
jolly
nature and magic.
Yeah, he's so magical. I want to have his life. That's all.
You would, yeah.
Yeah.
He is
My
the weirdest
honorable
character
mention-
in the series.
My honorable mention will be Hugo Weaving playing Elrond specifically.
That's good too. It's very good.
My honorable mention will be Thranduil, but only in the Hobbit animated movie because he looks like a goblin and not a good-looking elf.
Why?
Have you watched that movie anytime recently?
No, I've never seen.
Oh, the elves they don't look like elves. They look like horrifying monsters.
Gosh.
Well, Nick, now you need an honorable mention. You're obligated to pick one.
Oof. Boromir.
There you go.
Yeah, nice.
Mhm.
I also
Alright,
like the character played by Carl Urban.
Yeah, of course.
Eomer.
Eomer. Yeah, Eomer.
And then a follow-up to that.
Now make Nick another one.
Oh,
Force him to.
All right, Nick, pick something else to ask.
don't. Why do you hate me? I thought that was good. One and done.
That was good. Now do it again, monkey.
Well, how about this? Name your favorite character from the Star Wars expanded universe.
Star Wars expanded universe? Well, I
Alright,
already
they are
answered
not
last
allowed-
time.
They are not allowed
Not
to
allowed
be featured
what?
in any movie.
Even
No
a
movie.
Disney- Not a movie. Well,
Darth
it's
Bane.
the same as
No,
last time. Yeah. Darth Bane says
Ooh.
Sheta.
No, Revan. I
Revan,
chose him
and
before, too.
I'm Thrawn, same as before.
Thrawn doesn't count anymore. He appeared in Disney shows.
Oh, I didn't see anyone named Thrawn. I saw some kind of absolute moron who had no idea what he was doing. I don't know who that
Ooh.
character was.
What about Rebels?
Damn it, you're right. Like doing Rebels. Oh, then it would be, what's the robot's name in Knights of the Old Republic? Anyone remember? Isn't it HK something? The one who always talks about killing Jedi and stuff.
Nope.
I don't know.
What?
I'm
Even
I'm
Mr.
just gonna-
Revan over there?
HK-47.
That was it. Yep, HK-47. That would be my pick.
Well, I get to stay with the character I said in my top 3 favorite Star Wars characters and go with Mara Jade.
Did you say that for a favorite Star Wars character?
Yeah, she was in my list of 3 favorite Star Wars characters. I had Mara Jade, character that is really liked by the fan base, but George Lucas hates her.
I don't know who that is.
You'll read those books soon, Sheta.
I own a bunch of them. I have the chronological order for them. All right, so anyway, so that's all our Star Wars talk.
Not deep lore, Middle Earth. You're not going to make us pick?
No.
All right.
I mean, who here besides me has read the Silmarillion?
That's quite a little humble brag you're trying to do there.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's just my way of saying if you need deep lore, that's where you're going to get it. So if you haven't read it, then you won't really be able to answer the question.
I've only read every single appendice. Never any of the books.
I read
Okay.
it. I just didn't retain much of it since I don't really have a good memory for
There you
names
go.
and places and things. I was also in middle school.
All right. Well, let's move on back to Brandon Sanderson and Mistborn. So we will do our recap of last week's episode, and just like last time we guest started, we will throw it over to Nick to recap.
Yep, okay. I planned for this. All right. So it starts out, Straff was yelling at Zane for not killing Cett and Elend and letting all his Allomancers die. Staff meets with Penrod, tells them, talk about their plans together about taking over the city. Vin wakes up in the hospital, talks to Elend, but then goes back to sleep and awakens to Zane. He lies to her a bunch and gives her some atium. Orsier gets a new body and visits her, and she finds out they could probably be controlled and uses Duralumin and soothes him and does something. Sazed and Tinwill are talking about the plate in the logbook, and then they talk to Elend. He's looking for advice. Then Elend goes to Jastus and the Kolas. They argue. He stabs him and exits the camp with him hostage. Kills a Kolas on the way out. Then hears about that, and then Zane convinces her to attack Cett with him. And then they do that and kill hundreds of soldiers, but she realizes he's not a threat and they have no Allomancers, and she does not kill him. I think that's it.
Good job.
Yeah.
Hey, you never say good job to me.
You never say good job to me. You said that was
Well, maybe
really
that-
long. Just
You always just tell me all the things I totally forgot about.
yeah.
Well, that's because I don't need to butter you two up, because you're stuck here anyways.
Oh, I see.
Well, I see the appreciation.
So this week we're going through chapters, was it 44 through 48? So
Yep.
I'll ask you guys, how are you feeling about these chapters this week?
I don't like it.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I feel quite flabbergasted is the word.
Yeah, things are happening that I didn't expect, and I'm really kind of struggling for predictions now as to what's
Yeah.
going to happen next.
I had recently been lulled into a false sense of nothing is ever going to happen, so...
Which is a pretty big feat considering all the tensions. They have 3 armies around the city, and we just got comfortable. How did he do that?
Yeah.
Well, I learned from my embarrassing prediction on the last book where I thought, yeah, after Kelsier died, there's going to be falling action, I think, till the rest of the book. So, given that there's still book left, I know things are going to happen.
Yeah.
But I can save all that for predictions.
Same prediction. Just going to be falling action till the end of the book again.
No.
No, now you're like, oh, it's balls to the wall action, and it's just a quiet little thing.
Dang it.
These just might be my least favorite chapter.
Yeah, I believe that, Sheta.
So Nick, I'll ask you because you've heard how Justin and Sheta felt about it. So I'm going to ask you, how have your thoughts been about the whole Zane, Elend, Vin storyline that's been going on?
Well, I knew she wouldn't end up with him, but I thought he would pull her away from Elend more. I thought she might even go away with him for a little while, even into the 3rd book or something.
That's same. I thought
wasn't
that's how
rooting
it was
for
going to
them.
end.
Yeah, I wasn't rooting for them, but I thought that's might be what would happen.
So you're not a freak like Sheta?
I'm not a
Not in
freak.
that sense.
Sheta just likes the bad boys.
Yeah, bad, unhealthy relationship things. Well, I really feel like the girl of the group now.
Zane, Deloff.
I like Kelsier and Vin too.
Kelsier killed a lot of people.
Yeah, he's not exactly a top dateable choice either.
Unlike Zane, of course.
He just needs a little fixing, Justin.
All right then. So I guess we will just move on to the chapters this week. Starting off with chapter 44, epigraph. But must not even a madman rely on his own mind, his own experience, rather than that of others? So we begin this chapter with Breeze and Clubs, and they're watching Cett's army withdraw. And Breeze could see in Clubs' face that Clubs thought that this was it. Breeze didn't see why, that is, because there are still 2 armies out there. But Clubs explains that this will end once Straff figures it out. Straff just needs to pull out himself. Once he does, the Koloss will come in and kill everyone. After that, either the Koloss leave, or Straff comes in and kills the weakened Koloss army. Club says that they were all dead the moment the first army got here. All they were doing is they were just simply good at stalling. And then we jump over to Elend, Ham, and Spook, and they're having a meeting with each other. And, Ham is telling Elend about Vin's attack on Cett. 300 men had been killed in under 10 minutes. And Vin has not been seen since Vin has not been seen since the attack, and none of them fully understand why she decided to go attack. And Elend thinks about how he has been ignoring her lately, and thinks, what good will it do to save Luthadel if he loses her? It's almost like he doesn't know her anymore. And Ham and Spook, they're saying that Vin is, not fully stable. I think Spook even calls her loony.
Spook, how could you?
He's saying that he dodged something he could not handle.
Ham says that Vin might not be fully stable, and he brings up the time that she exploded on the crew during the Final Empire. But Elend says that she is stable, and he trusts her. If she attacks Cett, then she had a good reason for it. Ham also says there's something else that's not right about her. The attacks and the damage that she took during the attack on the assembly should have laid her out for longer than 3 days. Like, even if she was burning and flaring pewter, the other guy was a thug who was also going to be flaring pewter, so his attack should have done more damage. And all this is because, of course, she has not told any of them about duralumin. And Ham also says there were reports that she was working with another Mistborn during the attack on Cett. Vin is hiding something from them.
And here I was like, well, good. I'm glad you're not sharing things because one of these people is a traitor.
Yeah. By the way, that was one person killed every 2 seconds during their attack there.
Oh, dear God.
In that sense.
I didn't think of it that way. Holy crap.
Damn.
I would love to see that sequence filmed if it's that fast.
In real time.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
in one take.
Yeah.
One take. Well, I think it'd be mostly CG.
Yeah.
Well, I think Brandon Sanderson said that he kind of came up with the idea, like watching The Matrix when they go in, to like a building and kill just everybody.
It's the end movie one sequence. Oh, God.
Yeah, and he also says that he wanted to do something where, it happens and they're like, none of them feel any sort of like negative side effects or anything. So he wanted to show people actually dealing with going and killing in that many people that fast.
Yeah, it's easier to disassociate in The Matrix. Does this mean we're going to get bullet time in Mistborn?
Basically.
Be cool to watch.
That's what that one medal is. Cap.
It'll be like when every movie from that time was doing that for no reason.
Oh. It worked in Scary Movie as a parody.
Yes, Scary Movie. That's your example.
That's my example of one of the
parody.
All right, so we'll continue. Ham says that everything is falling apart, but Elend says that they need to do like Kelsier and keep looking forward to tomorrow. And Spook brings out the coins that Elend had brought from the Koloss. They are fake coins that are made out of wood and painted gold. And they also match the counterfeit coins that had been found in Luthadel a while ago, which was like a very small throwaway line from chapters and chapters ago about counterfeit coins. And they wonder why the Koloss are taking money when they never did before. And Elend tells them that the Koloss are changing. Ham and Spook leave. Then Orsier arrives and tells Elend that he found Vin. Good old Orsier.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and so Orsier brings Elend to an abandoned building, and Elend goes inside. And it's like all covered in dust inside and with Vin's footprints. And he finds Vin that's just sitting in a little nook. And this building, it's Cayman's old lair. And where Vin is sitting, it's actually the spot where we first saw her in the Final Empire, sitting in that little nook.
Aww.
And Vin's talking to Elend, and she says that she always thought that Cayman was a terrible person. But she probably killed more people last night than he did in his entire life. Elend tries to tell her that they were enemy soldiers, but Vin says that she was like a child and they were insects. And Vin's holding her earring in her hand, and she explains to Elend how she got it. She doesn't remember, but Reen had told her. Her mother heard voices and had killed her baby sister, and then gave Vin the earring. And Vin says that her entire life has been death. Her baby sister, Reen, Cayman, Kelsier, like everybody has just been dying. Elend tells Vin that she had a good reason to kill those men, but Vin says she didn't. She just wanted to hurt them so they'd leave Elend alone. Elend tells her that they were enemy soldiers that were protecting a tyrant, and Vin says that's the rationale Kelsier would use. Kelsier would kill the nobles and use the rationale they were working for, or he would kill like the nobles, he would kill just Ska that were working for nobles, saying, yeah, they're working for bad people, so they deserve to die. And it scared her. She doesn't want to be like him, but everything is pushing her that way. Elend tells Vin that he doesn't know the right things to say, but he wants to make things better. And Vin says that she thinks she needs to leave Luthadel and head north to Terrace. Elend, he doesn't want to lose Vin, but he tells her that if she feels she needs to go, then she should go. Vin asks if he would go with her, but Elend says no. Even though the city rejected him, he cannot abandon the city right now. And Vin tries to give Elend the bead of atium, because while she did eat it before the attack on Cett, she never used it, so she vomited it back up. But Elend has her keep it. She would have more use of it than he would. And so Vin gives the bead to Orsier to hold on to and to give it to her in time of need. Then Elend takes Vin's hand, and they leave. And that's the end of the chapter.
This got me thinking something, but I'm going to save it for a bit later when other things are talked about.
Anybody have anything to say about this chapter?
Only in retrospect, the stuff that we learn later. So
Mhm.
I think the comments probably don't belong here. Or maybe they do. I don't think I should talk about future chapters when analyzing this one.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I will wait.
Yeah, this is more or less, stuff we know and stuff that means a lot more in a little bit.
Well, I do feel like this chapter does show a good thing with Elend and Vin, where he's willing to let her go if he feels that that's for the best for her.
Yeah.
Well, she probably doesn't see it that way. I mean, maybe. She does later, I suppose. But right now, she just wants him to come with. And he's picking the city over her, which is altruistic, but
Yeah. I really felt for Vin because I put myself in her place thinking this. This would just confirm to her that Elend he cares about his ideals a lot and his place to all the people of the city and stuff like that. His responsibilities, like how important he is, and like how she's not as important as all that. So, just her fears from before, as she expected.
All right. Well, now we'll move on to chapter 45. I know what I have memorized. I know what is now repeated by the other world bringers. So we begin the chapter, and Tindwyl and Sazed are still doing their research into the Hero of Ages and the Deepness. And Tindwyl is not a fan of prophecies, but she still uses them to gather information because they can tell you about people and the past. Tindwyl asks Sazed about his religions, and he says that religions are an expression of hope, and that hope gives people strength. Tindwyl asks Sazed if he truly believes that Vin is the Hero of Ages, and Sazed answers that he has not decided yet. Tindwyl cannot believe this, because what are the odds that they would be here at the same time as the Hero of Ages living in like the same building? Just look at what happened last time. Someone assumed they had found the Hero of Ages. Sazed asks why Tindwyl is helping, and she says that the issues from the past have returned. The deepness coming back, killing people and stuff. So she is looking for clues to help with their current situation. And then Tindwyl finds, she's going through her copy of the rubbing, and she finds that a sentence at the very end has been ripped off of her copy. So Sazed, because he has a couple copies of it, goes check to see what the sentence was that was ripped off, but he finds in this copy, the same exact sentence has been ripped off. And when they lined up two pieces of paper, the two rips are identical with how they were ripped off.
now that part was kind of weird. Like, because
Yeah.
if someone was just trying to hide it, they'd, I mean, I can see trying to be close or even stacking them and ripping, but to get them that precise, I think it even said it wouldn't have even been the same rip if you stacked them and ripped it in the same spot. It was that identical, and that's just kind of a weird thing to point out.
Yeah,
I don't know what to
I have
make
some
of it.
theories.
thing was so weird. The whole time they're describing it, I had to keep going back. Did I read that right? This is so strange.
Mhm.
And it also,
Yeah, but
I wonder, because they assume somebody's trying to hide something, but this almost also points out something explicitly if somebody knows about their ability. I'm really
Right,
curious.
which Joe's about to say probably, and that's
Yeah.
that he still has it in his metal mind. So whoever did this either isn't aware of the metal mind, or doesn't know he has it, or is just trying to send a sign, maybe.
Yeah, one of the I wonder. Because they're doing all this research. I thought maybe they'd find some old specific thing. I didn't think it would be something so seemingly innocuous is going to turn out to be something important. But I guess that's how it always is.
yeah, because they go and they look for other copies of the rubbing, and every single one has the same exact sentence removed from it. They even find the original rubbing, where like the sentence is like in the middle of the paper, and once again, it's removed from it. And neither of them can really remember if they left the room or if they were gone, like how long they were gone, if there would have been time for somebody to come in. So Sazed goes and he checks his mental mind for what the sentence said. And the sentence was, Alendi must not reach the Well of Ascension, for he must not be allowed to take the power for himself.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I don't know how that would be super important. Does anyone have anything?
Um,
So I feel like that's like common knowledge to the people who've been
right.
studying this.
And I feel like it's contextually with the rest of everything that's on the slate and the logbook that you'd pick that out.
Yeah. He said he doesn't trust him like a million times.
Hmm. Maybe points to again that maybe someone's trying to send a signal of some kind.
Yeah, could be.
Send a message. I don't know.
I have a theory about that, but I don't know
Of
if I
course you
should
do.
say it now or later.
Let's save it for the end of the show.
She said it. It's spooks coming back in time to stop them from, or to make sure they do what he always knew they need to do.
Oh
Spook
my
ripped the
gosh.
paper.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm curious now. I was thinking if they went back to the original metal piece, if it was scratched off there or something, but that's probably
That
not.
would be
Or
some
ripped
kind of
off with the
magic.
same rip. Yeah. Then yeah, that would be magic.
All right. And then Vin enters the room through the window. Because of course she does. She just cannot use a door. And Sazed asks if she had seen anybody strange hanging around, outside Sazed's room, but she has not. And then Vin decides to ask Sazed for love advice. And she's telling him a lot of the same stuff we've heard throughout the book, just reiterating it. She doesn't feel like she is good enough for Elend. He deserves someone who can support his political plans and be pretty on his arm, and that's not her. But Sazed tells her that Elend fell in love with Vin because she wasn't a noble girl. She needs to support his decisions, even if it is to love her. But then Vin asks, what if there's somebody else that is better for her? The kind of man that she should be with. Sazed asks if she loves him, and Vin answers that he's strong and makes her think of Kelsier. Sazed says that she's been happier with Elend. And, but Vin says that, Elend was the first man she ever loved. Shouldn't she pay more attention to a man who is a better match, just in case? And Sazed asks if she really thinks she can find a better person than Elend. Vin thanks Sazed and says that she simply has to decide, and then she leaves. And then Elend comes into the room, and he decides to ask Sazed for some love advice.
I thought that was really funny that happened and that Tindwyl came back in and he's like, Tindwyl, get out of here again, and she just rolls her eyes. Like, you gotta...
These kids.
And I don't know what the time difference here was, but it made it seem like it was minutes apart.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
less.
That's how I read it too. It was very, very fast. To me, it felt like it was 1 second later.
Yeah, exactly.
Like as soon as she left the window.
Like this feels like a scene you'd see in a romantic comedy or something.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought of, yeah.
Man, it actually, if Elend was like 30 seconds earlier, he would have been devastated. He walks in and hears Vin talking about how there's somebody else.
Ugh.
See, that would have been like a CW drama or something if they did that.
It's also interesting, Sazed gathered that when she compared him to Kelsier, that there's another Alamancer in the city. Just from that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there were the rumors that, there was
Yeah.
a second Mistborn on the attack of Cett, so...
That's what I meant, Mistborn.
All right. And Vin, Elend's talking to Sazed, and he says Vin isn't making any sense to him. 1 minute she's warm to him, and then the next she's cold and distant. He thinks that they might be too different. But Sazed says they're both oppressed by their families, and they both fought against the Final Empire. 2 of them are right for each other. And then he talks about how their differences make them fit together like a lock and key. You look at a lock, you look at a key, they look so different, but when you put them together, they fit and work together perfectly. Elend asks what he should do, and Sazed answers to give Vin time. So Elend thanks Sazed and leaves. And then Sazed thinks that Vin and Elend are the best that Luthadel has to offer. They needed each other, and the Final Empire needs them both. He also thinks about how the pronouns used in the prophecy are neutral, but translations over the years have changed them to he. And so this makes him think more, if it's just neutral pronouns, then it could fit Vin. And, if Vin really was the hero of ages, that Sazed needs to find a way to get Vin and Elend out of the city. They cannot be here when Luthadel falls. And that's where the chapter ends.
Thought it was really funny to go from this crazy, like, oh my god, who's doing this thing, horrifying revelation, to some love advice, to right back to all this super serious stuff. It really shows the kind of situation they're in where, like, there really isn't, like, they're just in a very complicated situation right now.
It is a unique quality of the work, because there's always a smaller, like a personal, like, love story or relationship in there with all these big concepts and stuff. So I feel like that's the romance and stuff, the relationship stuff really grounds it to, like, the people involved, you know. Like, whenever Vin's like, oh, I wonder if Ellen likes me. And then she's like, yeah, but what is this mist calling to me? Like,
Yeah.
it's just very funny. Just the juxtaposition is really fun for me because I like both things.
Anything else about this chapter you three want to go over?
Nope. I think I said everything for now.
Then we will continue on through chapter 46. Epigraph. The two are not the same.
Yeah, I definitely had to read the previous one to. That is a sentence fragment right there.
I get really thrown off by those.
So the one before this was, I know what I've memorized, and I know what is now repeated by the others.
Ah, there we go. Yep.
Yeah.
Whenever they say the things, I can't help but just think of what I'm reading at this moment, you know?
Mhm.
Like if it's referencing Vin and Elend or Elend and Zane and stuff like that.
Right. Well, and I think Joe had talked about it before that they're not specific. It's just split up randomly. They're not specific to anything that's going on at the time.
Yeah.
Right?
No, they're not, but I still read it that way.
Oh, sure.
Well, they're chosen for a specific feeling for the chapter.
Yeah, for a feeling. I agree with that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just to
Or,
throw us off,
a
I feel
theme
like.
or-
Well, not always for a specific chapter. Sanderson wrote it all in like one big chunk, and then he'd have to get it all to fit throughout the entire book. So
I don't
sometimes
wanna
it may
know
fit
how
with the
chocolate
chapter,
is
sometimes
made.
it doesn't.
No,
That's not-
he's a writer. He'd put it in a position on purpose, or like he'd split it up in a way. And I'm sure he put a lot of thought into all of this, is what I'm saying. I doubt he just arbitrarily put stuff at random places.
Well, yeah, it still goes with the story, but it's not like every single one has like to go with the theme.
I guarantee that some super fan online will hardcore disagree with you, who has made up all this crazy convoluted reasons why everything matches.
Yeah, I could be wrong anyways too.
Well, no, I didn't say you're wrong. I'm just saying I guarantee some super fan has put way too much thought into this.
I want to find it.
So now into the chapter proper. Breeze is in his room and he thinks about how he is actually a full-blooded noble and that none of the crew knows this. But growing up, he hated how the noble world was like. They were still betraying each other and stuff. So he left it behind and joined the Scott underground.
Gasp.
So right there, all this time, you were told, Breeze is half Scott, half noble, but nope, he was a full noble.
I don't know, it just didn't shock me. It just made too much sense for how he acts and thinks.
Yeah, how he acts and talks definitely aligns with that. But
yeah, he never
there was
really
also
fit into this world.
There was a couple times when Sazed would call him Lord Ladrian, but he was like, "Don't call me that," because he doesn't want people to like look into it and realize, there was a House Ladrian and like this noble that went missing, and be able to piece it that it's him.
Yeah. We also didn't really get or hear much about Breeze's upbringing or his past that much. He was like, yep, no need to explain it. Have just that simple backstory.
Yeah. Anyone who's that old, like, oh, I'm just a simple guy, don't believe him.
Mm-hmm. Believe that.
It's like Jango Fett. He's just a simple man trying to wake his way in the universe.
Well, he is. It's not that complicated.
All right. Breeze looks at a letter that's asking him to come to a secret meeting. And then he looks over at Alrian, who is sleeping in his bed. And he feels like that he should feel more guilty, but he doesn't.
That was
Gasp
incredibly
again.
shocking to me. Yeah.
Dang!
Like, Jesus, Breeze.
He just went for it.
It's probably not the first
fighting
time.
it all this time,
Well, he's being influenced by her allomancy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not his fault.
Last time we saw him, he finally was like, yeah, I'll fuck it. After that, how long can you wait if all your willpower has been holding you back?
Oh my goodness.
Plus, he was driven out of Cett's army for possibly being found with her.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel they went that far until he
they
gave
said being
in.
intimate, so maybe they kissed or something.
And so Breeze goes to the secret meeting, and that's being hosted by Sazed. And he gets there, and he's like trying to, he doesn't want to go in and get caught like, you traitorous scum, and be arrested and stuff. So he's trying to sneak his way in, gets past these guards and stuff, and he sees it's just Sazed, and then he tries to tell Sazed, those guards might not be a good idea if you're having a secret meeting. And then Club shows up, and Club's just like, yeah, get rid of the fucking guards.
Yeah, I was going to say that same thing. That was funny. And then the lights all being dimmed, and it's just sitting alone there in the room. Like, is this your first time making a secret meeting? Come on.
Yeah. Very sus, they said. Like you be any more like sneaky, you may as well like have disguises on and stuff like that.
Fake mustaches.
Yeah. It was really cute. I really liked that.
He's not a
says,
deceptive guy.
Was it that obvious? He doesn't try to deny it or anything. Just, it's that obvious. Okay.
Cute. I love Sazed.
I like all worried about, is this some kind of like shady, traitorous thing? Then they're like, it's fucking Sazed. He's not going to be doing that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that if it was somebody else or one of the other guys, he might be like, what is this? What do we play? What are you doing?
Everyone is more curious. Like, what are you up to, Sazed? Like, hey, buddy. Like, you got a little plan? Like, oh, so cute.
And then next, Ham and Dachshund, they then also join shortly. And Dachshund and Ham get into an argument about what to do. Doc says that Elend's no longer king, so they don't have to follow him. They should go and help Penrod and the government, because Kelsier dropped the government in their lap, so it's their job to take care of it. And Ham is upset, and he says that Dox cannot like Penrod more than Elend. And they argue with each other about how little work they think that the other does. Sazed tries to stop them, be like, hey, you guys, stop. But they just keep arguing until just Breeze hits them with such a strong smoothing that they can obviously feel it. Then they're like, all right, we're acting like children. Let's stop yelling at each other.
This is a side of them we haven't gotten to see for really, at all, because, like they say, they're on their best behavior around Elend, but they are under more stress than anyone should ever have to be under. So it's really nice to see them kind of cut loose and get pissed off at each other and vent things out a bit and see what their real feelings are. I really enjoyed this for that.
Yeah. That was sad. I didn't like them arguing. That makes sense. Everyone's stressed out.
Well, as they say in a little bit, is this all it took? Just be around a few friends without Elend's morals holding them back, and they start actually talking about their thoughts and feelings more?
Yep.
And they don't have like Kelsier's, persistent optimism and all that too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then Clubs tells the group that Straff's army is getting ready to move. Dox thinks that he's coming for the city, but Clubs says that Straff is going to leave and let the Koloss attack. And Straff will come back and defeat the remaining Koloss, and he will look like a hero to the city. Doc suggests that maybe they just let Straff have the city, and that annoys Ham. Breeze suggests, let's give the city over to Jastes, but Ham asks if Breeze has seen what Koloss can do. And Doc's, he says he's only giving options. What else can they do? And Clubs says that they can fight and die. They cannot win this fight, but they can still fight to defend the city and then die with dignity. And Ham asks, what was all this worth then if they just die? Sazed answers, someone had to start it. With the Lord Ruler, society could not progress. Now they can, and the Ska will be able to fight in the future. This is the kind of event that can inspire legends. And Sazed says that it is not necessary for all of them to die. Someone should be sent out to organize further resistance. Clubs, Ham, and Dox all say that they will not leave. And Breeze volunteers himself, but then he says that, it's obvious who Sazed is talking about. The people that were not invited to the meeting. Sazed says that Vin must not be allowed to die in the city. And Ham states that she won't leave Elend, so he has to leave too. And Sazed also says that he will send Tindball with them, that way she could bring them to Terrace to meet with the Terrace people. And also send Spook with them to be able to watch over them and everything with his Tin Eye powers. So the group, they're going to try to come up with a plan to convince Elend that this siege will still last for months, so that way he has time to leave and come back. And they will also work with Vin's thoughts of the Well of Ascension. And Breeze is also thinking about how he will have to convince Sazed to send Alrianne with them as well to save her.
This was
is
depressing.
totally.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. It's just this. Yeah, this is the end. We're sending them out, and the city's going to fall, and I tried to be optimistic, leading up to this. Like, yeah, they'll figure something out, but it's really getting to the time now. There's nothing they can do. Something bad is going to happen, or something worse.
Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed this chapter for that part because it felt like you're saying, in the back of your mind, you're like, they'll figure out some magic mumbo jumbo way to take care of things, This part, it's just all these kind of more grounded people discussing how they are going to die. And then they're saying, oh, we've got to save them for these noble reasons. But actually, they just don't want Elend and Vin to die because they're younger, I think.
Yeah, they want all the kids to survive,
Oh, yeah, I think that's the real... In Spook as well. I mean, they could have sent
I think that's why
anyone
when
to
they
help
put
them out.
Spook in there, when Sazed says Tyndall, I'm like, oh, really? Her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll
Then
send
Breeze is
everyone
even thinking,
alone.
how do I get Arion out? They're all just
Yeah.
the people that they're like, God, it would be a shame if they die. If I die, whatever. But if they die, oh God,
Well, really though, of all of them, I think Sazed should, not beyond himself because of his metal mind. I mean, all that's going to be gone if he dies.
Yeah. I think it would be
Surprised
a
if
real
he'd want to
shame.
get rid of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also Ham had mentioned that he already got his family out of the city.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Put them to ground so he doesn't know whether they're one place or another. I thought was interesting. This was a real downer.
Sorry, yeah. It was, but I was selfishly imagining, though, a traveling company of Boog, Orion, Ellen, and Vin. Plus, Vin will say, we could use another Mistborn, and Zane will join them, and it'll look like
God, Sheta.
it will be like an anime summer vacation where they go up to the mountains and visit the Well of Ascension.
Anime summer vacation. I feel like this is a little too... So their summer vacation includes all their friends dying.
Yeah, that's all everyone's butchered in the city.
But they deal with that all the time. Their personal stuff and big world stuff.
Oh God.
I know.
Oh, now I know what it reminds me of. It makes me think of sending Kal-El off of Krypton.
Yeah.
I don't know
We're
why.
doomed.
In my head.
Yeah.
Send him
it's
off.
One last hope. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they all feel like they're gonna die for nothing, but they've got themselves, they feel that Vin is tied to this. They feel that Elend is smart. That would feel like you're not dying for nothing. And then Sazed's speech about, this will ensure the future, It's just interesting that none of them are willing to leave, That you see a lot about a character when they get to this level of hopelessness, and then they still endure or fight on or,
Well, it's like
I think
Clubs has always been ready to die. Like, he thought when he joined Kelsier to go up against Lord Ruler, he thought we're all going to die anyway, so this way we can just spit in the eye of the Lord Ruler as we die. So this is just a continuation of that. It's like he said, once the army came, yeah, we were dead then, but we just stalled out as long as possible. So he's been fully committed to dying this entire time.
He's an old veteran, so yeah, makes sense. About the hope thing. Not only is saving the kids one, but sending Vin and Elend with the ideas and the strength is like a seed for the next generation to keep going with the fight too. So that bit of hope is nice to have.
Yeah, because they're younger and they're in love. They'll have kids someday. It'll a whole long generational thing in their mind, right?
They would just be capable of continuing this fight,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was
mentioned later,
wasn't it?
right? Yeah, I think
Sazed
kind of touches upon it later. It depends what they'll do with their life, right?
Yeah, build up resistance again from the outside or something.
Yeah, like there is hope if there is important people like that out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next the chapter, it jumps over to Vin. And Vin can still feel she can feel the pounding getting stronger and stronger in her mind. She can feel the mist spirit and then this pounding that's been growing. And she goes to Creedic Shaw and she walks into it and thinks about how things were before. And nobody comes into Creedic Shaw anymore, so there's just dust everywhere and everything. People are just too superstitious about the place. And while going in, she thinks about how that night when she came to kill Lord Ruler, she had spared Gorodel. Where Kelsier, he would have just killed him. But her sparing Gorodel, that had led to Elend saving her life, which then led to Lord Ruler dying. She also thinks about how Kelsier, was brutal and bold, but he still accomplished his goals. Thanks to Kelsier and everything he did, the Lord Ruler did die. And while inside there, Vin notices footprints that are in the dust inside Creedic Shaw. Vin heads to the Lord Ruler's secret chamber in the palace, which was made to look like his home in Terrace. And she wonders why he settled here in Luthadel instead of in Terrace. And Vin thinks that she has to decide what she wants. On the one hand, she has Elend, who she wants to be with, and on the other hand, she has Zane, who represents who she feels like she has to become. And then we jump over to Zane, and Zane's sleeping in his tent in Straff's camp when he hears someone pounding a stake outside. So Zane wakes up, and he can sense assassins outside the tent. So he kills them with ease using coins and stuff before they even enter the tent. Straff had sent them. So Zane leaves, and he goes over and gives some money to a man that he had paid to watch and to pound a stake if he ever saw people coming towards the tent. So then Zane heads over to Straff's tent, and he could see that Straff expected to be killed. Straff had even had a little bit of fun with his favorite mistresses.
Oh my god.
Gross.
Straff. So
Plural.
lame.
But instead of killing him, Zane tells Straff that the city is his. Vin will soon leave the city with Zane. Straff's confused about this, and Zane tells him that he cannot kill his father.
Yeah, Straff was extra pathetic here, trying to bargain with him, like, oh, I'll give you your inheritance and the ATM,
Yeah.
and we'll announce that you are the heir tomorrow. And
Oh god.
that was just,
Yeah, I'll make you
I
legit.
it was nice to see that, but it's also sad he's not dead yet.
It was it's interesting that a part of him, he sends this attack out, a part of him doesn't think it's gonna work, like a part of him just thinks it's not gonna work and he's gonna come kill me.
It's
Oh
pretty
my
much his
God.
last effort, because for several chapters he's been saying Zane is just crazy, he has to die.
Yeah.
Tried to poison him twice. This can't go on. So he's like, this is probably the last ditch effort. It works or it doesn't.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Kind of a problem.
I remember last book when I thought Straff was gonna be like a dangerous badass guy.
Yeah. I really think that Brandon Sanderson makes it a goal to make ultimate unlikable character, ultimate good guy character, likable guy. I think he finds it a fun challenge. Because Straff is on another level of unlikableness.
There's not a lot of redeeming qualities.
No.
Yeah,
He
a chapter
doesn't
never
even
goes
have
by.
enough to hate him for. Yeah. Chapter
Yeah.
doesn't go by what?
Where I think, that was I like him for that or whatever.
Yeah. Or respect him at least. Or man, he's dangerous, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
There's nothing likable.
and then Sheta, I think you're the other counter to that would probably be Elend for the ultimate good guy. He almost does nothing wrong.
Yeah, he it's so honorable compared to him, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think of Rayoden. That's probably my ultimate hero guy.
Exactly, yeah.
Alright, so then Zane leaves, and he goes to a spot where he had hidden a mist cloak. Inside the mist cloak, he had vials of metal and also a pouch that was filled with atium. And he does not like wearing the mist cloak, which is why we have not seen him wear one all book, because it rubbed against a spike that went through his chest and stuck out the back.
Oh man, that was shocking to read.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
I have to wonder, one spike, is that they were gonna make him a Inquisitor and then decided not to, or
I have some theories.
Yeah, I don't know. That shocked me, but I immediately thought something that is touched upon a little later, so I'll reference it then.
And then,
which you guys probably know what I'm referencing.
Then, in his mind, Zane can hear God tell him it's time to go. So Zane left to go seek out the woman who would save him. And that's the end of the chapter.
That opens up so many questions, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm. I think we learned a lot about Zane here, with him not killing his father. He's a good guy.
Oh my god.
That's not the word I use, no. But
I mean,
he
good
does, as
guy?
he said, he does
There's
say
good
he
in
loves
him.
his father, you know.
Yeah, there's good in him. He is Ellen's
Yeah,
brother, after all, you know, like.
I really
guess
don't
he's
know
a
that I'd
good
go
guy.
that far.
I guess you could call him a good guy if you ignore everything else that happens in the book.
I'm just saying, there is some good in him.
He's not as bad as Straff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is
Which isn't
true.
saying much, but
He's crazy also,
yeah,
or
I
at
can't
least
help
being
it.
influenced by something.
I think
It's
he just is a sad creature
he's not a
of
psychopath.
circumstance.
That's what you're saying, right, Sheta?
Yeah, like people like that who just give in. He has a voice telling him to do these things, and he has those tendencies, and he didn't kill his dad when he could have. You know, that says a lot.
He has
Even
redeeming features. I would not call him a good guy. That's how I would say it.
I guess my definition of good is different than yours.
On a scale from Raoden to Straff, that's the question, Sheta.
Yeah, he might be closer to Straff, but he is his son.
Maybe closer to Straff. Maybe.
Okay, for sure.
Anything else in this chapter you want to go over?
No, good.
All right. So on to chapter 47. Alendi believes as they do. So we'll start off with the chapter. When Vin's outside, she's watching the mists, and she can still feel the thumping. And she is now certain that that thumping is the Well of Ascension, and she can feel its power returning. And she thinks about how she has not accomplished anything. Orsier comes to talk to her and ask what she's thinking about. She says that she is thinking about the end. She has a decision to make, and no matter what she chooses, it will mean an end. Vin enters her room, and mists have come in, and they're covering the floor. And then she spots that Zane's also in the room, and he has the mist, swirling around him like normal Mistborn, but also they seem to be pushing away from him. And Zane tells her that it's time to go. Vin is hesitant to leave. When Zane asks her where she would go if she did leave, and she tells him north, to Terrace. Zane says that if she leaves, then he will leave, which means that Straff will lose his Mistborn. Straff won't know that Vin is also gone, and that will make Straff even more hesitant to attack.
And Zane was pissing me off in this part because he is just outright lying to her about something that she would actually care about more than anything.
That was really mean, yeah.
This was like the worst lie he's told her yet.
I didn't realize that, but yeah, it is. Because he knows Ellen's gonna get killed.
Straight up told Straff you can have the city, The Mistborn will be gone soon.
Well, that's quite cocky of him to assume that Vin he's got her,
Yeah.
Like, she will leave with me.
Yeah, this is the part where Zane's just pretty much telling Vin, come to your angel of music. And then she's like being drawn towards him.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Joe, for that vision. For that image, I mean. I never thought of it like that. That's why I like Zane. He's like the Phantom. My goodness.
Well, it's like the part where she's like, I'm scared of him to come because he's going to take me away from you, Raoul. And she doesn't want to go, but she's being forced. And yeah, it's... All right, but back to the actual book. Zane grabs Vin's hand and tells her to come and that she can save him. And Vin slowly lets him pull her away. And she goes, she pulls out a vial for metals, and Zane spins towards her suspiciously. And this makes Vin realize that Elend would never do something like that, and she stops. She tells Zane that she cannot leave. Zane asks, what's so great about Elend? And Vin says that he trusts her. He loves her. And Zane's like, I love you too, but Vin tells him that she cannot go. So Zane does the only rational thing, and he attacks.
Zane saying I love you was very shocking to me. I mean, his version of love is all fucked up and warped and selfish about what he thinks can be helped for him, but surprised me.
And I don't even know 100% if he was telling the truth there. He could have just been lying like he has been always just to persuade her.
That's true.
Could be.
We don't know.
I think he's got some fucked up fixation on her that he doesn't even fully understand.
Yeah. Well, to say it too takes something.
True. And more does come out in a minute
regarding
that.
So Vin's being attacked, and she yells her code phrase to Orseer, so that way he can bring her the ATM.
Oh, good.
And Zane, Zane's attacking Vin, and it is clear that he is burning ATM because Vin cannot hit him. He also keeps blaming Vin that it is her fault that he has to attack and kill her.
A
So,
classic.
normal abuser.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why
And
are you
eventually-
making me do this?
Eventually, Vin gets knocked down right next to Orseer's body, but he is not opening up his skin to give her the ATM.
I was so
And then
confused
Zane-
here. Why wouldn't he?
Don't say
And then-
it, Justin.
And then Zane calls out, Kandra, come to me. And Orseer goes over to him.
And my thought is, my God, Zane has some
No.
power over the kandra? That's crazy.
That's what I thought, because yeah, in one of the last chapters, they had talked about how kandras can be controlled somehow, and I just assumed, wow, Zane figured it out or something.
Yeah, I can't believe we're going to learn right here what it is, the power that the Elementers have over the kandra. I'm very curious at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Zane tells, Orseer that he will no longer obey her commands. Ten soon.
And
Vin
this is when things started to
confused.
change in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, let's unpack this.
Yep, and Vin is confused, and that Orseer must obey the contract. But Zane tells her that it is his contract.
Oh my God.
And then Vin was able to piece it together. The secret kandra was Orseer.
Yeah.
No.
My God.
It just upsets me that I never thought of that.
I know.
Never
right?
even crossed my mind.
Not even
Not
considered
even.
it.
It didn't seem like a possibility to me at all.
And
But
not
it
They
makes
because it's
so
sneakily-
much
I-
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say I was surprised neither of you saw it because when you reread the book, it's blatantly obvious the entire time.
It's
How
this
so?
idea they
With-
put that there's
like,
two
so many-
Chandra.
Yep.
So many times
It-
Vin will bring something up that happened in the last book, and Orseer will at first be kind of confused by it, and then just give some vague answer. Because it'll be like he sees her going through Elendi's logbook. He's like, "Oh, what is this? Oh, this is the logbook. Oh yeah." And then she explains it to herself. Oh, he didn't read it. He was too busy in his own thing.
Yep.
She'll ask him like, "So what did you tell people when you were Kelsier?" Just vague stuff like the revolution is near.
I thought that part was so weird too when he said it. I just thought it was bad writing. That's what I assumed at the time. I was like, why did he ask that and not go into depth on it? So it's just never crossed my mind because Sheta, like you're
Really?
saying, they implanted the idea of two kandra so quickly, and that made so much sense from just a narrative standpoint that there would be,
Mm-hmm.
And then we were always looking to Orseer to help get clues
Yep.
as to how we could figure it out. And
as
he
she
just-
points out, yeah. And he was
Reading
pretty
us away.
forthcoming with the clues too. So he just seemed, and we're getting to know him better. He's trusting them more. With how paranoid I was, I cannot believe that did not ever cross any of our minds.
That is that thing right in front of your nose. You miss it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I was gonna say in like last week's episode, Justin was talking. Man, Orseer, yeah, he's so different now than he was like before. I never thought he'd be like this. And I'm just having to mute my mic and laugh, being like, yeah, he's different because it's a different person.
Yeah, well,
Like, 'cause-
I didn't know that.
And like earlier, Vin would bring it up, being like, "Oh, hey, he helped me out without having to be told directly like he used to." Because that's like a difference between Orseer and Tensoon. Like if you go through and you
but
reread it,
obviously that was meant to, or we thought that was that he was getting to trust
Well,
him
yeah.
more, where before he didn't.
Well, yeah, that's the way why I think it works so well is because first
Mhm.
time through you don't think of it, it all seems normal. The second time through, it's like these are all just blatantly obvious clues that you just missed the first time.
Yeah,
And
and you know
I
other
was-
things like when she'd force him to tell her things, and he'd pretend to be forced to because the contract makes him obey her
Yeah.
when he didn't really have to obey her.
Mm-hmm. That is interesting. I'd love to go through and see some of those parts where she gives him an order, how he acts, like something he actually doesn't want to do too.
But my question was, who killed Orseer? Because Tensoon couldn't, because kandras can't kill. and can't be.
Kandras
they
can't
kill
kill.
humans, right? Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because I believe
then
he
the other
says I
part of
killed
that-
him, which made me so sad.
Yeah,
The other part
Oh,
but we
was
never
I
really got
know.
that connected to Orseer.
Another reason.
I did.
Yeah.
I really liked Lord
Ooh,
Renew.
Yeah.
I thought I was
I
getting to
didn't.
They
know him
kept.
better.
Not emotionally
they-
connected.
No. Yeah. Still, it's sad as heck.
But then my other question is, so how does a kandra kill a kandra? So kandras can kill kandras without.
Yeah, I was really curious about that too.
There's an
Well, they
unanswered
execute each
question.
other. Oh, yeah.
That too, yeah. I suppose they do.
I'm very interested in that. They know some information I don't quite have, and I want to learn it.
So sad. I did want to know what Kelsier told the real Orseer to say.
Yeah.
As I'm sure he told them specific seeds to plant.
And
I've
the way
been-
this was revealed was just so sudden and shocking to me. I was quite impressed with that. When they can put it right in front of your face like that, I'm always very impressed. I'm curious how many people who read, like, what the number is of people who do suspect that compared to the ones who don't.
Well, 0 for 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, what does
I will
this
say-
betrayal remind me of? It reminds me of
My-
Well,
when
don't say. You don't want to spoil some other show or movie.
No, everyone's seen this.
You don't
It's
know.
not really a thing like that. It's just when Aladdin asked Genie to help, and Genie's now Jafar's genie and stuff. And you just feel so hurt that he's using his powers to help Jafar and not you, because he's bound by
Yeah.
a contract too, a genie contract,
Mhm.
So as a kid, that really hurt that he couldn't help, even if he wanted to.
Yeah, my first time through, I did not see this coming at all. Like, through my mind, I thought the spy was just going to be some random, they're focusing on these big people, but it's going to be just some random, like, butler or maid or something like that. I thought it
these
would be
chapters,
something
I was
mundane.
like, yep. I thought it was Spooks again because he kept getting referenced again. That's where my brain was.
Yeah, I guess no one would think a kandra imitating a kandra, and that also means he would have had to do all the research on Orseer to act like
Mhm.
him and
Yeah.
know the knowledge that he knows.
Well, he
I
already
wonder,
would
though,
know
if he didn't have as
Orseer.
much time as he wanted to. Yeah, he would
I
know Orseer, but
I
that doesn't
suppose they-
mean he would know
yeah.
how to be him.
Right.
And, like, even, like, his first appearance as Orseer, he almost fucks it up.
Oh, does he?
Because, like, he shows up, he's like, yeah, sorry, it took a little while to get all the fur put on and everything. Vin's just like, yeah, you told me that before you took over the body.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
It makes me sad because that means Orseer died not liking Vin, resenting her just like he was, and this whole thing that I thought the story wasn't. It makes me very sad because he just
Oh
died
yeah, and
before being through this arc.
her apologizing and coming to terms with forgiving him for eating Kelsier. She never got that with
all that
Orseer.
stuff. Yeah.
It wasn't even
And now
a
that we
real
know
moment
Kandra
for
have
that.
feelings and stuff, it's very sad. But it was probably a lot easier to forgive her for that when it didn't happen to him.
Suppose.
So who knows how it would be.
Yep. And I've been looking forward to this reveal for so long. Ever since Justin and Sheta were just getting so paranoid and trying to figure everything out.
Yeah.
Like, if the two of you were just in being like, yeah, someone's a spy. Okay, whatever. It would have been like, all right. But when you two were just like, oh my God, who's the spy? And Justin's trying to break down every single character, seeing who seems the most suspicious. I just wanted to see if at any point either of you would ever think, wait a minute, is it the kandra?
No. There was no possibility of me thinking that.
I hate these infiltrators and spies and doppelgangers. They always freak me out. So this is very scary.
All right. So back to the chapter. Vin asks how long it has been like this. And Tensoon says that he has been the kandra ever since she gave the real Orseer the dog body. Tensoon had killed him that day and took his place. Vin had never seen Orseer as a dog.
That's the worst, because like I said, he just died pointlessly without any of this character growth he probably would have been able to go through, I just really felt the loss of a creature I barely know.
I just thought, well, the person we've been getting to know is this one, is You know,
No,
that's the
because
real
we saw
Orseer.
some of their relationship before, you know?
Yeah, and it was just kind of that was before he was kind of dull. He was kind of just like doing the job and stuff like that. You know, this one had a lot of
Yeah, but
character.
still.
Yeah, Vin still gets the character growth in connection. It's just to Tensoon instead of Orseer.
I still like it. We didn't.
That's
I
my
didn't feel like we
exact
lost
point. That's
anything.
what I'm saying. That's what's sad.
Oh,
For
oh,
Orseer.
yeah. Well, this
Not
is
for
Orseer.
Vin, for Orseer.
Orseer died so that way Tensoon can get this moment.
Yeah, I like him.
I don't care,
He
but I
is
don't
our
know who
Orseer.
Tensoon is. Yeah,
No.
it is.
I don't know why you guys are defending this. This is what are you trying to say? It's not sad? Is that what somebody's trying to say here? It is sad. A guy died. A guy we thought we
but
knew, and we thought we followed a character arc from beginning to end. It ended before we even got to start it, barely. It's sad. There's no argument there.
we didn't know that guy that well.
You had an entire book with him.
Yeah, but I never liked him that much.
Tensoon only had one sentence of mention in the first book.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he.
For being a Straps kandra. Yep.
All right, so now Vin and Zane, they continue their fight, but Zane has the clear advantage. Vin tries to push some coins at him using Duralumin, but Zane uses Duralumin himself, and it pushes Vin against the wall. Tensoon had told him about it. Tensoon had found the note from the metallurgist, which also had instructions for making Duralumin.
All my time of being like, Vin, stop telling stuff in front of the crew and being so paranoid. I feel so stupid now because I'm like, she told him everything. And I was just like, yeah, it makes sense. He's your trusted kandra the whole time. I should have been just as much like, don't share it with this guy either. You don't know him at all.
That's the first rule of dealing with spies. Don't trust them. You know?
Yeah, don't
They're
trust
spies.
anyone. You only know what
I
the
just mean-
kandras tell you. You don't know if it's true, you know?
So Vin's sitting there, and you have all the mists in the room, and she thinks about how she had drawn upon the mists in her fight with the Lord Ruler. And now she's in a desperate situation again. So once again, she desperately tries to draw upon the mists, but nothing happens. So Zane, he beats on Vin some more, and he yells that she was supposed to save him. And then he pulls Vin's to his and kisses her. And
Ugh.
while kissing her, Zane stabs Vin in the breast.
Oh my god. Can he be more romantic?
Romantic?
She doesn't mean romantic like love romantic, right? You mean
Yeah,
like high
he is a
romance, like high
romantic at
drama,
heart,
right?
like-
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know the way you mean it.
Like it's so dramatic. Like
Yeah.
gosh. But
And-
it's like dark romance.
Yeah.
And then Tensoon cuts in, and he warns Zane to be careful because Vin knows about kandra. She knows their secrets and why they serve the contract and why they fear Alamancers so much. And Vin realizes that Tensoon is trying to tell her something. And she looks over at him, and she sees permission in his expression. So Vin soothes Tensoon, and then she uses Duralumin with the soothing. And this allows Vin to take control of Tensoon's body. So Vin uses the body to attack Zane, which gets Zane off of her. And then Zane gets to his feet and he kicks Tensoon, which breaks his bones, and Tensoon gets launched towards Vin. And Vin cuts into Tensoon's body and pulls out the bead of atium. And Vin burns the atium and sees Zane's shadows for a second. And then they just vanish. And Zane explains that he gave her a fake bead. It was simply lead with a small, thin layer of atium around it.
I wonder if Tensoon knew about that it wasn't real atium.
I don't think so from the way he acted here, because he seemed like he
Was trying to
was
help
helping
her.
her by telling
and
her
how
the
much-
control thing.
Yeah. Unless he
He
expected.
I'm
put
not
it
sure
all-
though.
No, I don't think he did. He put it all on the line to get the ATM to her, and it was for not.
Unless he
Zane
thought
seems paranoid, so
that maybe she'd have him just like bite his neck or something. That might have worked too.
Yeah, that could be that he just thought at least that would give her an edge.
Something.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. Because he couldn't,
Yeah.
if he did know, he definitely couldn't tell her he knew, I thought it was interesting, this little loophole he found, because he's not lying completely, She doesn't know, but she has all the tools to know,
Tried to help. He's good. He's
Yeah,
good
I was
boy.
glad to learn that at least the arc stuff we'd seen wasn't fake. Like he had become somewhat connected to her. I was starting to worry that even things like when he helps her out in the assembly, that was like a specific order he had and stuff too. And like nothing about it. Like he was a master kandra liar.
Yeah, he didn't mean any of it. Like all the
Yeah.
caring stuff and friendship. He
That
said,
would've
sorry,
been-
mistress.
Yeah, that would have been quite a betrayal, I have to say, for me.
Yeah. There's few betrayals like that in fiction that hurt like that.
Yeah.
Utter betrayal.
Betrayal to the audience. Like, I liked this guy, He didn't exist.
Now, Vin, she decides to try to draw things out so that way Zane's ATM runs out. She's trying to talk to him and just get him to talk. That way, just runs out. But it's not long enough and Zane attacks. And Vin thinks about how she can't beat him because he knows what she's going to do. And this gives Vin an idea. She doesn't make any decisions and watches what Zane will do. So she's there. She starts moving without really being committed to it. So Zane comes to attack, and she reacts to him. Because he reacts to her shadow showing where she's going, but she reacts to his reaction. So she does something that he did not see coming. And Zane winds up stabbing her in the shoulder while she gets him and stabs him in the neck. And then Zane drops to the ground.
So I think it said that she saw, or Zane saw two possibilities that she was going to do.
Yeah, so it's likely because she wasn't committed one way or the other. So normally when you're attacking a normal person, they'll only have one shadow because they're committing going this way.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not committed to either. So she's just waiting, and once she sees him react to one of them, she does something that will go against his specific reaction. And it's just too fast for him to be able to.
Because the thing could not physically predict what she was going to do in the way it does because he hadn't done anything yet, It's so interesting that he picked one, or he sees what she's going to do and starts doing it, and then she cheats, because she hadn't had a decision yet. I thought that was such an interesting way to do it, because basically you've telegraphed to her where you're going to be, It's just, it makes a weird amount, it makes a weird sense. I thought it was an interesting way to overcome this problem.
I can't believe no one has come up with that, though.
No,
like, how do you fight?
They specifically say that somebody very likely has,
Oh, yeah. They never.
It's just, people don't really advertise when they figure that kind of stuff out because somebody will use it against them. Because it seems so obvious now, of a weakness to that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, it's something where it's not going to work in every instance. Like if you...
I was going to say, that's got to be situational, not foolproof.
Yeah.
You have to be in like a one-on-one situation with the Mistborn. Like if you have multiple people, then that will be messing it up.
No, that would be different.
And then we jump over into Zane's mind, and he's like talking, but his throat's cut, so Vin's not able to hear it at all. And he's saying that she was supposed to save him because she was the first person he had ever met that God did not tell him to kill. And then in his mind, he hears God respond to him. Of course I didn't tell you to kill her. You want to know the really funny thing, Zane? The most amusing part of all this? You're not insane. You never were.
That's basically what I was thinking when we found out about the spike, that voice probably wasn't him being crazy, and that the Inquisitors probably have a similar voice in their heads.
Weird. You'd think Marsh would have said something, but maybe not.
But I think that's why he was acting so weird, I think he's acting so weird specifically for that reason.
Oh, that's probably why he left. God probably said, you gotta go.
Well, no, I still think he's working against it, but I think he knows something that our heroes do not know, about Steel Inquisitors. And I really wonder if this voice is something from the Well or whatever, some ancient power, or if it's just the Lord Ruler is still lingering in some way.
I have a theory.
Of course you do.
We jump back to Vin, and Vin watches Zane die. And then she goes over to Tensoon's beaten body. And she asks how she can help him. And she tells him that, if he needs another body, he can take Zane's body. But Tensoon declines to take Zane's body because he does not like Zane.
I was
Tensoon
trying
will
to think
instead
how
take.
Elend would react to that if it's like,
I
not only do you
wanted
have a
this
brother,
so bad.
you wanted that. Not only do you
I
have a
wanted
brother,
it.
but the kandra has now taken his body after betraying us.
And I had a crush on him. Gosh, I was so for this. I still hope he does it, but he's
No
not.
way. That would be too fucked up. That would be so messed
Yes!
up.
Then Vin would be like, man, Vin's hanging out with those two brothers quite a lot and stuff.
No,
Like,
God, that would
I
have.
want it.
I would not have liked that.
Then we could still have the actor who plays Zane around. That's
Nick,
what I was
back me
hoping.
up here.
Yeah, I mean, if he were contracted to Vin, I think it could be a good idea because they could definitely use that because Zane can just walk right into Straff's army. It'd be really useful, but I think, yeah, it probably wouldn't be good.
Well, even if he went into Straff's army, remember, he could not kill anybody there.
Can't kill, but he could learn things.
So
all his
Discord,
plans
too.
be.
Yeah, see, there's so many advantages.
Of course,
No,
he'd find
there's
out right
not.
away if he didn't use his allomancy.
Yeah, and I haven't been poisoned in a while.
I don't think you can poison a kandra. He'd probably survive it
That too.
if the poison were on him anyway.
Tensoon says that he will take these bones he currently has and the bones from the other dog body and be able to piece together a new body with them. And Vin asks what they will do next, but Tensoon says that his contract is void since Zane is now dead. He will go back to his people for reassignment. He doesn't want to go, but he must at least report to his people. And Vin can see guilt in Tensoon's eyes. He tells her that she now knows their secret. The secret that kandra have kept for 1,000 years. Mistborn can control the kandra using allomancy. Tensoon tells her to leave him, and when she returns, he will be gone. So Vin leaves, and she knows that Vin leaves, and she knows that she should head to Sazed to tend to her wounds, but she doesn't. She knows what she wants, so she runs to Elend.
Oh.
The most
Baby
interesting
girl.
part of this is the part where, who I thought was Orseer, when they're asking about the other kandra, and he says, they don't really have a choice in what they do, or something to that effect, And Vin kind of feels a little sympathy for the other kandra back then.
Huh?
You don't remember that? I don't remember how it was
when
worded.
she relates to like how she didn't have a choice. She has to obey her old like bosses and stuff.
He's just asking about him, and it's like, oh, so he probably doesn't even have a choice either, or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really got on.
It's just, this is one of those things that would be interesting to reread just to see those little things.
I don't want him to go. He should stay and be a rebel just like Sazed.
I'm sure this isn't the last we'll see of him. Well,
I hope
not
so.
100%, but...
Yeah, but when he comes back, how do we know that this isn't a new kandra in disguise?
Yeah, shoot. How would we know? And he wouldn't come back unless someone else picks up a contract for him.
And the contracts, they said in the first book, are always paid in ATM, and they don't have any ATM to pay them.
Oh, they'll find it.
Yeah, they'll find it.
Anything else from this chapter any of you want to go over?
No.
Well, Sheta, do you see how stupid your hopes were now?
Yeah, now.
That
I'm
Zane
sad.
is
my hopes
crazy
are
and
shattered.
dangerous?
Yeah. Well, I knew it would end in tragedy.
I will admit, the first half of the book, Zane seemed like the type of character where, maybe they will turn him over to his side. But the second half of the book, Zane was clearly deranged. He seemed a little bit more put together when you were first seeing him.
Yeah. See? He's just like a dark angel type, And yeah, I thought that maybe Vin could fix him too. Or at least,
That's what all guys like that think.
Zane's a dark angel type, so is your casting Jessica Alba?
No. For Zane? Get out of here. I am really sad. He had the potential to be one of my favoritist characters. I hoped he would stick around and be like a cool anti-hero,
You lost both of your favorite characters in this chapter, Sheta.
I did, which is why I really hated this reading.
Yeah.
It was too much. It was too soon. Like after I finished this, I just sat there for a little bit.
So what was worse, this or the Red Wedding?
This, for me, my personal stake in here was more. This broke my heart more than the Red Wedding. That was just horrifying.
What about this or Kelsier's death in the previous book?
Well,
Well,
Kelsier.
all of-
I've never had
Yeah.
a feeling like that.
Well, all of you were in complete denial that he was dead.
I
I still
am.
am.
It will never leave. Because of all the weird religious symbology stuff, it will always be in the back of my head.
A second coming.
Yeah, a second coming. Even though I don't
Mhm.
rationally think that, in my brain I can't get rid of it. You
Yeah.
guys are
So
the same?
I am.
So even when we're done with Mistborn and we're reading other Brand Sanderson books, are you just gonna be sitting there being like, Kelsier will return?
When is Kelsier coming back? I'll have a little church feeling. This is the book where the Savior will return. The survivor will always survive.
Yeah. I've never had that before where someone has such main character energy and then just is snuffed out like that. That was terrible.
Well, I want to say some
Not even-
examples, but I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm not going to. But I may
Not
ask
even
later.
anyone from Game of Thrones, no. Because Kelsier is number one main character, like leading man, leading role, It's really hard. I just, yeah.
All right, anything else for this chapter?
Boo.
We'll move on to chapter 48. He is a good man, despite it all. He is a good man, a sacrificing man. In truth, all of his actions, all of the deaths, destructions, and pains that he has caused have hurt him deeply. All of these things were, in truth, a kind of sacrifice for him.
That damn your own soul for the greater good archetype thing. I always really am interested in that.
All right, so chapter begins. Elend is going over a letter that he has written to Jastes, hoping that Jastes will see reason. And Elend also has some counterfeit coins made by clubs, hoping that if they could have a little bit more time, then they could make enough and be able to buy off the Koloss from Jastes. And then Vin comes into the room, all bloody, and apologized to Elend, saying that she killed his brother, who was Zane, Straff's Mistborn. Elend is a bit confused. He is about to leave to go get Sazed, but Vin clings to him and asks him not to leave her. So Elend decides to help her walk to go see Sazed. The two of them go into Sazed's room, and Sazed immediately begins to work on Vin's wounds. And Vin tells Elend that she realizes something about Kelsier. She always focused on the wrong things with him. He wasn't great because of his ability to fight or his brutality. He was great because of his ability to trust and to make good people into great people. Men like Breeze and Clubs became heroes because Kelsier had faith in them. And Elend is better at that than Kelsier ever was. And then Vin asks Sazed if he knows any wedding ceremonies. Sazed answers that he knows around 200, so Vin asks for whichever one is the shortest. And Sazed says that the Larsta people only required a profession of love before a local priest. So Vin tells Elend that she loves him. She asks if he loves her, and he says yes. And Sazed says that Vin may not be in the right mind for this right now, but she says that she's in more control now than she has been in months. It's time for her to stop hesitating. So Sazed asks Elend's thoughts, and he says yes, he wants to marry her. So Sazed says that the two of them are now married.
Woo!
So, Justin, remember a couple of weeks ago when I asked, hey, are Vin and Elend going to be married before the end of this book? You said 100% no.
Hey, they weren't married under their true God, the Lord Ruler, so this isn't official.
Well, Sazed's as close to a priest as you're going to get, especially
No,
for
I
a
know.
dead religion.
Also, Elend was just king. I feel like they have the authority to have this be an official wedding.
I don't know what in the eyes of their kingdom makes something official. I mean, it sounds like it doesn't really take much.
Yeah, 'cause
But yeah, how do
before you
Star
would
get
just
married
get
and stuff? I wonder.
They got
'Cause it was
papers
always
to
just you-
sign off.
you would get like an obligator to be like, yeah, you're married now.
Yeah, he said that. My authority is as good as some fucking obligator, so.
Gosh, I think that it's so funny for marriages are funny. Like, it's such a big deal, but it's also like not a big deal at all.
We're
Yeah,
married
like-
now, just like that.
Great.
Yeah.
In the,
Like,
I mean, in the eyes of who, really?
Mhm.
Yeah.
A lot of customs where they just like tie your hands together and you're married, and then you just go get the papers and stuff like that for illegal things. But like in old times, you just bind hands and yep, you're married.
Yeah, but in old times you had religion for it, When religion isn't as important, it does seem a little arbitrary.
Hmm.
And
Because you're
but
married in the
also,
eyes of God, Yeah.
well, also, Sazed said the Larsta people didn't do
Oh, yeah.
divorces. That wasn't the thing. So,
I hope you guys are sure, because
For
well,
the fastest wedding ever and no divorce,
right?
that just seems like a bad
Like
combination.
you could have like a 1 minute. I don't know.
well,
I
it's
mean,
probably so fast because they take it so seriously that if somebody gets married, it's really like it's a bigger deal than like in our culture.
well, he also said they came from a place where it was tons of bureaucracy.
All right, and then Vin and Elend, they change the subject and they talk about Straff. And Vin says that she'll kill him if he puts one foot in the city. But Sazed offers a different solution: the Well of Ascension. He and Tindwyl have been doing research, and they are convinced that Rashik never did what the hero was supposed to do, and also that he is not convinced that Elendi was the hero. There are too many discrepancies and problems. Sazed suggests that the problems of Luthadel and the Well of Ascension may be solutions to each other, and Vin says that she can feel the well. Sazed asks where, but Vin answers that there isn't really a direction to the pulses. Before, used to feel them a little bit weaker, but now they're just feeling stronger. So they're not really distant, just the strength of it. And Sazed tells them that he knows where the well is. His research has found it in the mountains of Terrace, atop one of the lower peaks called Derry Tatith. And Vin says that she will go. Sazed tells Elend that he should go with her. Straff will soon take the city and have Elend executed. Elend asks if the power in the well can destroy the armies, but Vin says that she cannot use the power. It's a temptation. That's what went wrong last time with Rashik. He went in there and he took the power for himself. Sazed says that they can release the power and let it defeat the deepness on its own. And that power
And
could also undo the damage from the Lord Ruler.
I was so stupid here because for a second I'm like, man, so their research paid off. That's really good.
Like he had me going.
Yeah, I knew that Sazed was obviously doing his plan, but I'm like, how fortuitous that your research actually helps with your plan here. So he was very convincing with that just total bullshit he was pouring out.
Well,
He's-
some of it I think makes sense because
Yeah,
they're
some
always
of it
told that
does. It's specifically
They're-
that part about the power is holding, like some very specific thing about it will rise up and destroy the deepness, like stuff that he's not making up out of nowhere, but at the same time he's totally just bullshitting from like random shit they've put together.
Of course, Sazed would be a thorough liar.
Yeah, it was good
He's got
luck.
all the facts in his head.
Yeah,
I knew it would work, and like his plan to get Vin to go. It's a well-formed plan.
yeah. It all made perfect sense the way it was set. Every little bit that they added on was like, yeah, that makes sense.
It made me kind of sad.
Yeah.
And Elend says that Straff will have the city, though. But Sazed tells him that the crew will hide and they will not be found. And then Elend and Vin, they can go out and they can gather resistance from outside the city and raise a revolt against Straff. And Elend asks if the Terrace people will help them, and Sazed says that they might. So Elend agrees to leave. And Sazed says that he cannot go, but he will send Tindwyl with them. And he will also send Spook with them.
All makes perfect sense.
So sad.
Also note he didn't mention the distinct possibility of Straff not coming in and just letting the Koloss wreck them first, which
Mm-hmm.
they know is something that might happen. But of course,
Yeah.
you can't tell
Yeah,
them that.
they've discussed all of the things they think are going to happen, and he's just saying the ones that would convince you to leave.
Yeah, that's gonna be fine. It's just me Straff coming in, and we'll let him come in.
Yeah, and you guys
He'll
will
be
come
fine.
back. You will.
We'll hide. I was like, oh, you won't
Mm.
hide. That was really sad. Like,
And
they're all
also,
gonna fight and die.
I don't think Elend knows about the idea that Straff could just leave and let the Koloss in. Because if I remember Clubs told that to Breeze, and they all talked about it in their secret meeting. I don't think that was
Mhm.
ever brought up to Elend. Because the entire time,
No.
throughout all these chapters, he feels that Cett's army leaving is a good thing. 'Cause now they only have 2 armies instead of 3 to deal with.
Mhm.
Yeah, and he thinks he's talking to Jastes and doing the thing,
Yeah.
like figuring it out.
Also,
Alright,
he
so-
caught them in the perfect kind of emo state to start saying all this stuff without you thinking too much about it.
It just
They
felt
just
really
got married.
natural.
The woman he loved is bleeding out in front of him. You know, Vin already wants to leave and is so eager to go solve this in that way instead of like in the go solve it with magic way, because this other way is just unsolvable basically.
Yeah, that's not her forte either. So
Sazed just watched everything fall into his lap and he took the opportunity.
yeah, sneaky old Sazed.
So then, after Vin and Elend leave, Sazed thinks what they will think when they find out that Sazed lied to them and Luthadel has fallen. Sazed has no idea where the well is or what the power could even do.
Yeah.
And when he
He-
says, "What will they think?" He's not just talking about Vin and Elend. He means history. What will
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
How will history look
What will-
upon
what-
them is very
what will
interesting.
they think
Well-
of me?
Mm-hmm.
I think that first one was him thinking about them
was it?
specifically, but then next he wonders how history will judge him. But he
Mhm.
smiles, thinking about how their youthful love will live on. And then Sazed goes to get to work making his fake map.
Yeah.
And that's the end of part 4.
Well, like you're saying, I like when the history thing is really interesting because that's something Sazed's very passionate about, you know. So it's really interesting for him to wonder about that. And then, like was referenced earlier, it really depends what they do with their life, you know. Because if they do something great with their life, history will look very positively upon this decision. If they just do nothing and are never heard of again, you know, or even they just die, history will not look as fondly upon what happened here. They'll be like, whatever happened to that king? He got deposed and he just disappeared, you know.
mm-hmm. It's putting a lot of faith forward.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else from this last chapter you all want to go over?
It's interesting that Sazed's plan went so smoothly. That's like one of the only few plans that went smoothly. Like to get them out, even Spook out. Like
His plan to convince them went smoothly.
yes,
We'll
yeah.
see if they do get out.
Yeah, we'll see
The
what happens
conspiracy.
next. I really wonder if they're going to get out and we're going to watch the city fall a bit from the other perspective, or if something's going to suddenly happen that changes things in a way we couldn't expect.
It usually does, especially towards the end.
All right. So I guess after that, we'll move over to our, theories and predictions segment.
Well, one of my only theories came true, that Zane is not crazy and he's probably talking to some entity or something, and then that entity, whatever it is, confirmed it in just a later chapter. So put another one on the correct theory list, huh? Does that count?
You never really said, because you're always like,
I
don't know
I didn't
about
get
Zane.
the opportunity.
Well,
I
then
thought that
you
in that
never said
chapter.
it. Oh, it doesn't count if you don't say it, Justin.
Well,
in my
current
head,
theory is what I said.
This.
Yeah. My current theory is that the Steel Inquisitors are hearing the same voice, and that's a whole subplot we'll learn about later with Marsh.
I'll go off of that and say that. Well, first I thought the Lord Ruler is Professor Quiruling Zane. He is writing in Zane's head via the Inquisitor spike. So same kind of thing. But I was like, what if that voice is not being? I thought it was the Lord Ruler, but I was like, what? It doesn't seem like it's Lord Ruler. Everything we've learned about that guy was kind of mundane and stuff, kind of normal. So I was like, what if that voice is whoever the deepness entity is, which I think will end up being a person, as it usually is, like just a person from long ago who has all this power and is kind of wisping around like Voldemort, you know. And he briefly, or has a part of him possessing Zane and stuff. So
You think the
he
voice
doesn't
is like the actual chosen one? Like whatever happened to him at the well, he's still there or something?
even older than that, I feel like it.
Are you saying Alendi?
Mm-hmm.
I think Alendi, Rashik, all these names, I think they're all just characters like Vin and Zane. Like, I think whatever power is there is much older.
Oh, yeah. That's what I suspect, too. I was just asking
Who?
if you were touching upon that idea.
What idea?
When you said it was a person, I was asking if you were
Oh yeah,
saying a person like that. No, I think it's something else,
yeah.
but we'll see.
Yeah, no.
Well, yeah, I definitely think there's more to the deepness because it's been like a looming threat for the whole first book and then this whole book, and for it to just be, yeah, Mist come out and kill a few people is not really that scary. I think
Yeah,
it's gonna do something worse.
I believe that the myths are a tool of whatever this thing is, but I don't think it's as simple as they're saying right there.
Well, I have another theory about the mist, or just a little bit about the Koloss. That the folk that disappeared from the towns into the mist were made into Koloss.
I think you said that one before, didn't you?
Did I? Oh, I
Well,
did.
I believe you did.
Did I? Did I, Joe?
Remember disagreeing with you on that
I
kind
even
of
had a
idea.
note that said that says, "Did I already say this?" Yeah.
I don't remember that. I remember her saying like the Koloss something about like cannibalism or something, or she was
Yeah, I
giving
could
a
be
theory
misremembering.
that Justin was confused, being like, "What are you talking about?" Oh, this goes off my other theory I never said.
Oh, yeah, that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's different. All right, well, to go with that too, I think the Koloss army are kind of, or might be made up of people from Jastes' old town, like where he was from, and instead of letting him, like, instead of killing him, they decided to let him be king and lead them somehow like that because they knew him.
I think the Koloss were created. I stand by that one.
Well, yeah, of course they're
They're
created,
just made wrong, and that's why their skin doesn't grow right.
but they eat people.
Yeah, they definitely didn't come about naturally.
Yeah.
Like
They'll
evolution
be.
wouldn't lead to something like that.
Who knows? Maybe the Koloss were the original people, and the humans are the unnatural creation of the Lord Ruler.
Oh,
There's
get
my
out.
new theory.
Get out.
Joe's got his mic off, laughing his ass off right now because that's all true.
Well, my question is, how does that explain the people that were there before the Lord Ruler got power? Because he
They were
wasn't a weird
Koloss.
blue monster.
We don't know. That's
They
been
didn't
lost to
mention
time.
it. They
Yeah,
don't describe
exactly.
people's skin.
They never say
No,
he wasn't a blue creature.
But
He
Vin,
might wear
when she
makeup.
used when Vin used the 11th medal, she saw the other version of what the Lord Ruler could have been if he had never taken the power.
Well,
So, and he
you
was
have
not a
now
giant blue creature.
you have now poked a hole in my absolutely not real theory.
Super solid theory that you had.
That is true. I cannot argue with that. Oh yeah, I forgot about those other medals. I'll come up with theories for that later. I forgot about some of the weird ones they dropped in the first book.
And that kind of brings me to something I don't know if it's a hope or prediction, but I want to see Duralumin with those others. I think the first 8 we kind of have a handle on. It's pretty straightforward. Like push becomes big push and
Yeah.
pewter, and it's all straightforward. But like the time bending one, so seeing into your future or other people's futures or pasts. What
Or
would
possibilities,
Duralumin
yeah.
or Duralumin do to that?
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see that. More of that stuff. I feel like that stuff has to come up again.
And we still don't have the gold counterpart, do we?
No.
Yeah, I'm not good with remembering that stuff.
Yeah.
No,
because you
have
had
not figured
you had
that.
eight because you had ATM and then Mal ATM, which was the 11th metal. Those go together. So you have gold, but you have not seen the alloy of gold.
Which logically would say see into your own future, but maybe that is it.
Ooh.
Maybe it doesn't come up. I don't know.
Or I don't even, I don't know.
That would be cool.
I'm curious for this weird time or dimension or whatever stuff, because that's a whole huge piece that hasn't been explored that much that would change the story a lot,
That's a whole can of worms. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to see.
All right, and then a question I'll have: who ripped out the sentence from all those notes?
Ooh, I have my theory.
And
Oh, and
why
why?
did they
Yes.
do it?
We haven't seen Marsh in a while. I'll just go with that.
It's as good as anything else,
It's
yeah.
as good as anything.
If somebody who could sneak in, who could do that and do it all, might as well be Marsh. I can't see why it wouldn't be.
Yeah, they did see this. Say they saw an Inquisitor in Luthadel, so
Hmm
I
He
mean
could
that's
have
gotta
even
be
poked
him.
it out with the spikes in his eyes.
Mhm.
That's why they're the same shape. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
Well, what's your theory, Sheta?
Oh yeah. Okay. My theory is that the mist disintegrated the paper magically, and that's why it's the same. And that the same kind of power that raised up at Vin at the beginning, since it's been coming into the buildings and trying to come into the buildings, I think it came in and kind of like, maybe I'm thinking of the mist too much, where it has like disintegration powers, but I just feel like it's too supernatural, and I don't think it got ripped out. I think something like that happened. Either it's the this is gonna be stupid, but if it is the deepness or whatever, or it's just, I'm not even gonna say it's too stupid. But if it's Kelsier doing it, he's trying to warn them. 'Cause
Could be.
Hold on, I want to hear the really stupid one.
All right, if it's the Lord Ruler or the evil deepness or something, he's mad about this, about the he's just mad about the what the sentence was saying, which is that he
Yeah.
must not take the power for himself. Like,
Got me thinking when you were saying that, Shita, that it could just be some
yeah,
petty thing reaching out, you know? If it's
yeah,
some magical thing in the mist, maybe it is the Elendi of back then being like, you motherfucker, you know?
like you, I
I don't
knew you thought this about me. Like,
Yeah, I don't think so, but I think that theory's that it's some
really?
supernatural thing is also an interesting theory.
Yeah, I do agree. It's probably magical.
Hmm.
Alright, and I guess I'm also going to ask you, what do you think's going to happen to Tensoon? He's going back to the kandra and all that.
He'll
Well,
either be
And will
assigned to somebody interesting or somehow assigned back to our heroes.
I thought that maybe he could help Vin find Zane's ATM stash, and then she'll be able to buy Orsir's, or not Orsir, Tensoon's contract.
I'm wondering, where does the ATM go? Who do they pay? Do they
Yeah,
pay
there's
the
got to be a
Condra
whole
themselves?
store of it somewhere, right?
Like, are they paying someone else for use of a Condra, or do they pay the Condra themselves? Because if they do, then, well, I don't know if Tensoon could voluntarily say pick someone. Probably
Yeah,
not,
like,
though.
Yeah.
I doubt that they'd let him do like the friend discount.
Yeah, if the money has to go to somebody, then probably not.
Well, who knows? Maybe as the well is doing stuff again, maybe the Kandra will have to change their philosophies because they know more than our heroes do. Maybe they'll need to work with our guys or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I think it'd be interesting if we go see the terrorist people and the Kandra on their journeys if they do leave the city.
I want to see both of their places. Like, they always talk about how they have to go back to their city, their place, to check in or do all that stuff. I really wonder how it is. You know that I think the Kandra city is just a dog city because of the dog body.
Yeah, but he was so disgusted and felt it was beneath
I
him to be a
know.
dog.
Yeah, but I think it would be cute.
Do any of you have any other theories or predictions you want to throw out there?
Mm-mm.
Broadly, I'm gonna guess the end of the book is going to be dark, bad, just because a second entry in a trilogy typically is the everything's really bad.
Empire Strikes Back kind of ending.
Exactly like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'll use that to lead into my last question. How will this book end? Because we do not have much left. We've only got a couple more episodes of this podcast for this book. So what's the ending?
For me, I thought it would end happily, so I'm kind of sad to hear that. Happily and
What?
hopeful. Where I thought it would end with Ellen and Vin, like, trying to find the well, and they do find it because they're following Vin's instinct because it's calling to her, and they actually just find it and find that it does have power and it's hopeful. Like, I didn't think it would be
Well,
bad.
I mean, we don't even know if Sazed sent them in the right direction because it's not really there. I don't know where exactly. Do we know exactly where it was or roughly where it
No.
was?
Was it
Well,
at
not
all.
around?
well, going through the logbook, Alendi talks about how it's in the Terrace Mountains.
Okay,
Mhm.
so it
Yeah.
is there. Okay,
So I thought
And
that they
Vin
would
can,
go around there.
and now Vin
Yeah.
can sense it.
So
so
it's very
there's
likely they could
there's a
find
good
it.
chance. Yeah, that's true, and maybe that's how it'll
But Vin
end.
says she doesn't sense it from any specific direction. She just feels
Until
it
they
from...
get closer, though.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
maybe.
It's not directional, but maybe it gets stronger.
It's
closer
just
Yeah,
like
to
when you
maybe.
use
hot or
Apple
cold.
Find Me. When you get closer, it starts beeping or
Mhm.
vibrating.
Just like that.
What do you guys think will happen? That's all dark and bad.
Well,
Well,
Sheta, you didn't finish off. You said they would find the well, but then what are your thoughts about what will happen with the two armies outside the capital?
Again, I think that the Kolas. I still think that the Kolas will follow Elend and not not want to just ravage the city. I don't think they would want to do that. So they might even kill Straff's army.
What have
for
we
them.
learned about Kolos that would make you think that they wouldn't want to do that?
Well, that they don't want to that they want to keep the city. They don't want to wreck it. They want to live there. So I don't. They weirdly want to stay civilized.
They're wearing clothes absolutely wrong, and they're walking around with wooden coins. They don't know anything.
They're not doing a good job, but they
they're
want
trying.
to do it. Yeah, they're trying. You can just imagine these really ill-fitting suits and stuff, and like a little hat. Like,
Well, they said they had like shirts and skirts and random shit on just totally randomly. Like they had no
It's cute.
concept of how to wear it.
I have such a
Cute.
little affection.
Every
for
one of
them.
those was from somebody they killed, you know?
Yeah,
when
but
they
they want to be
slaughtered people.
human.
All right,
wanna
here
be
I'm
like
gonna
us.
read a quote from when Elend was going into the Kolos camp. You think we are Kolos? We are humans. We will live in your city. We will kill you, and we will take it.
Yeah, kill Ellen.
It's pretty damning.
Yeah. Maybe.
But they're also pretty easily, I would say, swayed.
Yeah.
Swayed, but not in
Well,
the way
maybe
you
not
hope,
swayed.
because it said that Jess had less men than before, so they've been killing them, you know?
Mm.
And they're like, take my horse, and then it's gone when they leave. Like, you know,
They have to
they're all
eat.
messed up. Yeah, they have
Well,
to
I
eat.
guess at the very least, maybe they could be pitted against Straff's army.
Yeah,
but I
I
don't
still
think
hope to
that's
see
gonna
that.
happen.
But yeah, I don't think so. I think they're just going to sweep the city.
I would love to see Straff just get pummeled by an army of Kolos. Like a freaking mad gorilla, just like.
If they've kept
Gorilla
Strass
mashing.
alive this long, that's not a good enough way to get rid of the character, I think, you know? It needs to be
All right, so
something
we've
way
had-
more pathetic. Well, I think what I always thought, something that is connected to the well and the deepness in that, going to do something really horrifying with the mists that'll make things way worse than anyone could ever imagine. Now I'm starting to think that the city might actually fall and we'll lose at least one of our beloved characters. And I don't know if Elend and Vin are going to have left by then. I think they'll get some revelation about the well, but I don't think they'll reach it.
Yeah, I think a lot of similar things. They'll definitely be headed towards the well. They might reach it. The city will definitely get taken by one of the two armies. If not the Kolos first, then something will have to send the Kolos off because they're not just gonna go. Someone's probably gonna die. Oh, and the deepness, like the real deepness threat, I'm hoping might reveal itself like something worse.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You guys keep saying we'll lose somebody. I have a bad feeling that we're gonna lose everybody.
Oh,
Well,
we won't
let's
lose
go-
everybody. I doubt that.
No, I don't
Well,
think
let's
so.
build on that. What if you think some characters are going to die? What characters do you think will die?
Breeze.
Really? I think he's the only
I
one that
think
would
Breeze will
survive.
die. I don't think so. Breeze has gotten so much work done this book. Anyone else
Yep.
you kill because they haven't had as much work, it'd be a shame. But Breeze has had a lot done. You got an argument?
Outside of Kelsier, Sanderson seems to not be super into killing main people, at least so far,
Mhm.
and maybe I'll be proven wrong. So maybe someone
Oh,
What about
like
Wraithen?
I hope not.
maybe Clubs.
Wraithen was the villain, though. That's
Yeah,
different.
he's
Wraithen
kind of
had
villainy.
redemption through his death, you know.
Forgot about Deloff, Joe.
Maybe a few lesser characters, and then like Clubs or Docs, maybe.
See, I think Clubs or Docs wouldn't,
Ham.
if as a writer, I don't think it because you'd be like, well, they were prepared to die. Breeze has a lot to live for right now, like a
That's a
lot.
good point.
You're thinking like a writer, so yeah. I feel like
I don't.
he kind of writes to you a little bit, like
Yeah, but
kind of to trick you.
sometimes things are wrought in that way, like you're saying, where it is a trick, you know,
Hmm.
where it's like, oh, you thought I tried to make you feel sympathy, this guy, so you'd think you'd die, so he'd die subconsciously. So let's hope it's that kind of thing. I'd prefer that.
I have a feeling it's going to be not like anything you expect. So what I wouldn't expect, because I agree with that trope of he has gotten a lot of work, so it would be more effective if he got killed. But not to be mean, but honestly, the rest of the guys haven't really done much this book. You know, Dachshund, Clubs, Ham, even like they've not got that much work, and they're not. I think that they're all just gonna die. Everyone
Jesus,
but
Sheta.
Breeze, who still has stuff to do. Yeah.
Jesus. If it was going to be everyone but Breeze, Breeze would have been fighting the whole book about whether or not to be selfish. You know, it would be he'd learn a lesson from it. He's already shown himself to be altruistic, so that's why I don't think it'll be him.
To survive?
Yeah, because
Like him to survive?
you know, then it would just
I
like, oh, we did a bunch of work. We know you like him, so he gets to live. You know.
I think he's not gonna die without losses. I mean, losing some of his best friends and probably busting his ass to fight and use his powers to help people. You know.
Now, what about anybody on the team that they're setting up to leave the city? Or Sazed himself?
No,
Sazed,
Sazed
I
has to
don't believe he'll
survive.
die.
He
Yeah,
has to
I don't
live,
think so.
and the team will live because I don't.
I-
As long as they follow the plan, they should be safe.
Yeah, I don't think that Spooks is gonna die because that would that would just be terrible, you know. Tindwell maybe. I think there's a chance Tindwell has something happen where Sazed has to go with them. I was surprised that they didn't force him to go with him here.
Tyndall dying would be really sad for me.
Well, I don't think she'll die, but I think something could happen where she can't go with. Because, like you said, it's not like Sanderson's that sadistic. But then he did kill in Elantris the female gang leader. I was really shocked she died, you know. So he's not against it, you know.
Mhm.
Because she died just to give you sheer hopelessness for 1 second, you know.
And then, what about our villains? So you have like Straff, you have Jastes. Will they die?
I'll be surprised if Jastes isn't already dead
Right, his
after what
Olaf
happened.
are definitely going to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they saw at all that he was, pushed around by Elend like that, they're
Mm-hmm. It's
probably
only a
not
matter
going to
of time.
respect him as
Yeah.
if they did to begin with.
Wonder if one of them will eat him or and then become
He was
like
a bad
Koloss
king.
King. Yeah.
Do you think they understand hierarchy or anything like that?
The hierarchy of bigness, you know?
Hmm?
Whoever the biggest Koloss is, they have a hierarchy like that.
All right. Well, now I guess we'll move on to the characters and quotes of the week. So, who's your character of the week?
I'm going with Clubs. I really liked his blunt honesty.
Seems like he knew the score from the beginning. Just kind of sitting quietly, like waiting.
He's somebody who doesn't seem like he shares his thoughts unless he has to or is asked to, but he's always got. He's like, come on, we all know, you know?
Well, I have an honorable mention for Tensoon. I didn't pick him just because he was not really Vin's kandra, but it didn't he did things for Vin, obviously, like helped Elend find her after the the battle at the keep and helped kill Zane and pretty much did as much as possible without technically breaking the contract with Zane.
Yeah.
But I'm actually choosing Sazed for giving them all the advice to Ellen and Vin without saying like, please stop bothering me. He knew all the guys needed to meet, and he set up a cute little secret meeting for them. And he sent all the younglings away and got them married off and lied to them, which he probably goes against. It's not something he'd normally do.
Mhm.
So
He did do a lot.
he did do a lot.
Dang, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
Well, I will probably honorable mention Fake Orseer too, because just now we see like what he must have been going through this entire time, dealing with Zane and lying to Finn and stuff like that. We met a whole new character, and I like him. I hope he sticks around, and I hope he doesn't feel too bad about what he's had to do. But I will pick Zane as my favorite character for the last time. Just having him admit to having like planned to manipulate Vin, like all his plans to manipulate were just to manipulate Vin to leave with him. And when he's like, "Oh, I failed then. It was all for nothing." Like it was so sad. And to learn that he's not crazy, it was just a very tragic character. I blame Straff for all of his woes, for creating him and for torturing him.
You're not going to blame God?
Straff probably let that happen to him. Offered him up to be
Yeah, I mean, he must have
inquisitor.
knew about it at the very least.
At the very yep. If not, made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
He knows something we don't know, that's for sure.
I
In
wonder
fact,
if there's
I wonder
other.
if Vin will just immediately go ask him. Oh no, she doesn't know about that. But the body's still there, so I
Someone's
wonder.
gonna have to deal with that. Who's gonna
Yeah,
find the body?
Yeah, I'm curious if we'll get to learn more about that. Yeah, maybe Marsh already got rid of it. He's behind everything.
He's our man in the shadows.
He's probably been doing things this whole time. There's a good chance that we just aren't aware of what he's been doing.
Yeah, maybe. I think he's off with the other Steel Inquisitors doing their thing, get information or do something, but it could be just as likely that he is here.
Yep, and then for my character, I'm going to go with Vin. Just saw a whole lot of stuff with her throughout these side chapters. Start off with her just being really, just weak and timid and stuff, but still, leaving the cubby with Elend. Very introspective as she's trying to figure out what she wants to do, what she should do, going to Sazed. And then finally you have her fighting against Zane, and every single one of her plans she comes up with. Oh, I'll get Tensoon to give me the ATM. Nope, he betrays her. I'll use Duralumin. Doesn't work. I'll draw on the mist. Doesn't work. I'll try to, get Zane to wait to lose his ATM. Doesn't work. And then finally she's able to take control of Tensoon's body, able to react to his, to Zane's ATM and kill him. And then at the end, then once again, in kind of a weakened state, she goes to Elend and she gets married.
Cute. That's
a lot of stuff with Vin's character throughout just these chapters.
Yeah, she did come a long way. Something I forgot to say earlier, but I wanted to about these chapters is Vin finally talks about the good stuff of Kelsier. Like all this time, everyone's just like, Kelsier's he was so crazy, his plans were so wild, and he was so violent and stuff like that, and he killed so many people, but they never talked about his trustingness, his, how he taught Vin how to trust and make friends. And that was actually one of the qualities she admired most about Kelsier. And I thought that was a good moment for her growth too. And for her making her choice about who to be with. Like, actually, Elend is more like Kelsier than Zane is.
That's an interesting point that she realizes that he's more similar. I didn't think of it that way.
Mm-hmm. And that he's even better than Kelsier at being like that, because he's pure at heart.
All right, so we'll move over to the quotes then.
Guess I can go. I mean, it's probably one of the bigger ones from Sazed. At first glance, the key and lock it fits may seem very different in shape, different in function, different in design. The man who looks at them without knowledge of their true nature might think them opposites, for one is meant to open and the other to keep closed. Yet, upon closer examination, he might see that without one, the other becomes useless. The wise man then sees that both lock and key were created for the same purpose.
I like that one too. That's a good one.
Mine's from with beginning of it when Ellen's talking to Vin when she's in the little nook. Okay. I wish I knew the right things to say, Vin. Seeing you like this yanks on every protective instinct within me. I want to make it better. I want to fix everything, but I don't know how. Tell me what to do. Just tell me how I can help. She resisted his embrace a little at first, but then sighed quietly and slid her arms around him, holding him tightly. You can't help with this. I have to do it alone. There are decisions I have to make. He nodded. You'll make the right ones, Vin. You don't even know what I'm deciding. It doesn't matter. I know I can't help. I couldn't even hold on to my own throne. You're 10 times as capable as me. She squeezed his arm. Don't say things like that, please. He frowned at the tension in her voice, then nodded. All right, but in any case, I trust you, Vin. Make your decisions. I'll support you. And just big moment for Elend, and he just, like you were saying, he trusts Vin that she'll do the right thing, and ties into later with Zane where she realizes that Elend was willing to trust her to do the right thing even when it meant that she would be leaving.
Oh, well, my quote is almost like the other side of that. So it's when Zane and Vin are talking at that awful scene, and Zane's trying to get her to leave, and they're talking about Elend. Let's see. Okay. When I attacked Cett, Vin said, the others thought I was acting irrational. And they were right, but Elend told them I had a good reason, even if he didn't know what it was. So he's a fool, Zane said. When we spoke later, Vin continued, not looking at Zane, I was cold to him. I think he knew I was trying to decide whether to stay with him or not. And he told me that he trusted my judgment. He'd support me if I chose to leave him. So he's unappreciative, Zane said. Vin shook her head. No, he just loves me. Yeah. That moment where she finally realizes that too, that Elend is a good guy. He does love her and respect her and trust her. Something I feel like Zane would not understand because Vin didn't understand that for a long time.
Mine is the part where Elend is thinking on how Vin's not around. It felt wrong not to have her with him. He had come to rely on her simple bluntness. He needed her genuine realism, her sheer sense of concreteness to keep him grounded. He needed to hold her so that he could know that there was something more important than theories and concepts. I thought that was a really interesting way for Elend to express in his head what he needs from her, what he gains from her, and why he loves her.
Oh, that is a
his
nice
kind of thinking. Just like how Vin has her own things that are similar to that. It's interesting to see his because he doesn't usually think that romantically.
Yeah. Vin's always worried like he doesn't need me anymore when he's all being like a hotshot king and stuff, but he will always need
this
that.
book. Yeah. This book has a lot of that where one of them thinks, oh, they don't need me for this reason. And then they say almost immediately after that's the exact reason they do actually need them.
Mm-hmm. Oh, all these have to do with their relationship.
Mm-hmm. I had a couple. I
that's a
with
big
that one when everyone else had done it.
Well, that was a big theme of this whole part 4 section was, focused a lot on their relationship and Zane coming in the middle of it.
Yeah. Well, ended up with Zane dead and them married, so who won?
Any last things any of you want to talk about for these section of chapters we've read?
No, I feel like we covered all the stuff I wanted to say.
All right. So then I'm going to read off one comment we had given to us. This will be from Well of Ascension Chapters 28 through 33. The comment, from Blue Shark 85. I love it when Joe's chapter summaries purposely include subtle pieces of foreshadowing, and neither Justin nor Sheta pick up on it.
Oh no!
I bet you did it today too, didn't you?
You son of a bitch.
Sly devil.
Making us look like fools.
Yeah, it's
Make
like
a fool
I
out
don't
of
know
me?
exactly what I don't know exactly which foreshadowing he's mentioning in that thing, but yeah, like I had brought up when I was doing the chapter summaries before with like the Tensoon reveal. I brought up the little foreshadowing about him, not knowing the stuff, and I try to keep it subtle like the chapter summaries are, because if it's subtle in the book, I don't want to like bring it to the forefront and make you guys realize, hey, this is weird or something like that.
Sure.
Oh, that would have immediately given it away.
So then, so we'll look at next week's chapters. So next week, we're only going to be doing 3 chapters. Chapters 49, 50, 51. Yep, and then I will let anybody know out there, since we're getting close to the end of the book, like I said before, if you haven't picked up the next book and you want to be sure, and you're reading along with us, and you want to be sure you have it before we start the next one, next book is called The Hero of Ages. So if you're reading along, be sure you own a copy of that. If you don't, go on to Amazon and buy it. Go to Barnes & Noble and buy it. Maybe a half-price books, but whenever I've gone to those, I never see Brandon Sanderson books there. They always sell out right away.
You got to go to the right ones. Yeah. Different areas have like different genres where they have more of it, depending on the people who live in the area.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Just go to an area where they all hate Brandon Sanderson's books and they want to sell all the books that they bought.
No, that doesn't work. You need one where they read them and then people die and then their books to half-price books. That's what you need.
That's so sad.
Most of the books you're getting from there
to...
at any used bookstore came from that. Just think about that. What's that, Nick?
Go to a rich neighborhood and find one of those little library things that they have on paths.
Oh, like where they
Yeah.
put a bunch of books in it?
Yeah, and just hope you get lucky.
That would be amazing.
Oh, look at that. Hero of Ages.
I would say go to a public library because you can read stuff for free there, but since it will take like a couple months to read through it, you probably don't want to get those late fees.
You could also check it out though sometimes.
Just read it in the library.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's true.
Until
Until
some
it's,
other viewer
rechecking.
goes and checks it out.
I don't know, maybe it's just me and not wanting to take something off the shelf, but I hate rechecking something out too many times because then that's making it so somebody else can't read the book.
Yeah, but you want to read it.
Yeah, but I don't want to get something and hold on to it for like 4 months. But
I had that one. Oh.
Yeah, that's different issue. So let's just jump over to plugs. If I remember last time, Nick doesn't have anything to plug.
Oh, you can plug something. Be something of yours. You can plug anything.
You can do our plugs for us. If you'd like.
Yep, Nick, you're in charge of the plugs.
Yep. Go to mermaidmachete.com and profanitybeaver.com. And you will find what you need.
Yep, that's correct.
Do not go to those. They do not own those domain names.
Well, somebody's going to go buy them now that you said that, so we'll have to pay for them.
Yes. Yep, Mermaid Machete. At Mermaid Machete for costumes, cosplay, fashion, and then for art, in which we are still doing Inktober through all of October. You can go to my art page at Sheta_low.
Yeah, when this episode comes out, there'll only be like 4 more days of October.
Then,
Hey, so she'll be on prompt 7 by that point. Sounds good. They can follow along.
hey, I'm working really hard on those.
I personally stand by Nick's endorsement. Accuracy is not as important as passion.
That's right.
Are you going to go and buy the profanitybeaver.com?
Both domains and sell them at a premium.
Yeah.
Might be able to do it, but you need to know how to make a website.
You don't need to make the website.
Just make it
own the domain.
Or you could just set it up to the domain like forwards to like your link tree or something like that. Because I have a buddy who, like, 10 years ago, he had a podcast that now if you go into the website they use, it just links right to his Facebook page.
Yeah, is that worth buying the domain for?
Well, he already owned the domain. He's like, I'll just link it somewhere now. Because I decided to check it out when I found the old bumper sticker from like 15 years ago and wondered if the website still worked.
Oh, it doesn't cost much of anything at all.
Buy it. Buy
Right.
it, then you can add something to the plugs.
All right, so I'll just go into me. Well, not me, but this podcast. So, Cosmere Chronicles, if you want us to read a comment from you, leave a comment somewhere. If you want to leave a review, then leave a review. You can't see it, but I'm giving a thumbs up each time I'm saying this. If where you decide to listen to this, they don't have reviews or comments, then send us an email, cosmerechronicles@gmail.com. Or you can also respond to us on Key, a most ancient letter, formerly known as Twitter, at Cosmerechron, COSMERECHRON. And we will, same thing, read those. Nobody's used that yet, but I don't think people really like using that website anymore. And yeah, so that's all of our plugs and stuff for this week. Be sure to join us next week when we do, like I said, 3 more chapters. Chapters 49, 50, 51. Yeah, and yeah, everyone go out, have fun. It's October. This next week, go out trick-or-treating. Try not, just don't be a dick when you go trick-or-treating, all right? If there's a bowl out front with some candy, only take 1 or 2 pieces. Let some other kid have some.
Fuck those
I
kids.
watched
You're a
them.
40-year-old man. You deserve all the candy. Take it.
I watched the Mark Rober video from last Halloween.
In which what happened?
I'll show you later, Sheta.
What I do is I put out the bowl, and if someone takes more than 2, I'll be dressed up in some horror costume and chase the kid if he takes too many.
Just sit there
That's
and
fun.
watch the camera the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, everyone, be good on Halloween. All right? Try not to do any ritualistic sacrifices. And come back next week to listen, all right? Have fun.
Bye. Don't let that stick in the mud tell you what to do. Do any ritual sacrifices you want.
Yes, it's the night to do it. Bye.